at a studio up in Mukilteo, and like the guy, I was drinking water and my voice wasn't sounding very good. And then I'd reach for my coffee and take a swig, and the producer in the studio is like, "You're not supposed to drink coffee when you're singing." And then after that take, he's like, "That sounds great. Keep drinking coffee." So I don't know. Shout out to Joe. This song's called Count Me In. You gave all you had. I didn't choose you, you chose me first. Even when I turned my back, I still gave you love. It's the only thing I wanna have. No greater gift than a man to lay down his life. How could I miss this? I'm not about to pass it on. Count me in. I'm amazed this love is for me, Lord, yeah. Count me in. I'm amazed this love is for me, Lord, yeah. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Sha-na-na-na-na-na, woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Sha-na-na-na-na-na. Looking at these plans you have for me, they're plans of hope and peace, much bigger than the ones I had. I tried to follow mine, but I was going nowhere fast. Your love makes me like a David with a stone and a sling. Nothing else could bring my life so much meaning. Count me in. I'm amazed this love is for me, Lord, yeah. Count me in. I'm amazed this love is for me, Lord. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Sha-na-na-na-na-na, woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Sha-na-na-na-na-na. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Count me in. Count me in. Count me in. I'm amazed this love is for me, Lord, yeah. Count me in. I'm amazed this love is for me, Lord. Come on, woohoo, 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 woohoo. Sha-na-na-na-na-na, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Sha-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
We got kids going, no,
Sing it.
because it's awesome. You know it's awesome. You know it's awesome. You know it's awesome. Any song we can do in church that says woohoo and sha-na-na-na is a good winner for me. All right, guys, don't be in a hurry to go. We're going to get into this to the word in just a minute. Check this out.
Sound Church exists to amplify Jesus. That's what we want to do. Everything we do is possible from the help of supporters like you. Aside from this streaming service, your giving goes towards different initiatives around the world and helping homeless children and women in the Seattle area. Right now, we want to help Faith India Ministries raise $10,000 for their church and their orphan center. There are 3 ways that you can give. Text any dollar amount to the number 425-689-7707. Or you can go into the app and click on donate. Or you can go online at www.sound.church. Thank you. We really appreciate any amount that you're able to give. We love you. Mwah. Mwah.
Thanks so much for being here with us tonight for the streaming house church service at Sound Church. I just want to invite you to stay connected with us throughout the week in one of three ways. Check out the website for all of the updated events and everything at www.sound.church, or grab the app. Search your favorite app store for any device you can imagine just about. Just search for Sound Church. And I'm talking iPhone, Android, Amazon, Windows Mobile, Apple TV, pretty much. We've got an app for everybody, so grab one of those. And also just make sure you keep in touch on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those by searching for Sound Church, all one word, at Sound Church. Thanks so much. God bless you guys. See you later.
See, giving is simple and secure. If you'd like to give, just text the word GIVE to our giving number and tap the link. From here, you can give any amount you'd like. Choose what you give to and make it a one-time or recurring gift. It's that simple. For your first time, you'll need to register to complete your gift. After that, you can give again, anytime, anywhere. Just text the word GIVE.
What time? What kind of time? Oh, look, I'm live. Can you say hi? Say hi. Hi. Good job. Good job. Good job. Oh, I guess we got more people want to say hi. Say hi. Say hi, Sound Church Internet.
Hi.
Want to say hi? Say hi, Sound Church Internet.
Hi.
All right. Say hi, Titan. Say hi. Say hello.
Hi.
All right. Everybody go sit down. Go have fun. Hey, we're going to talk to you a bit today out of 2 Kings chapter 5. 2 Kings chapter 5. We want to talk a bit more about Elisha today. 2 Kings chapter 5. Now, this is an interesting little story. And this is surrounding the life of Elisha once again. Elisha is one of my favorite Old Testament characters, if you haven't figured that out yet. But this thing is very cool. So I want to look at 2 Kings chapter 5 and verse 1, and this is talking about the king of Arum, and let's just start it. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 1. It says, "The king of Arum had great admiration for Naaman, the commander of his army, because through him the Lord had given Aram great victories. But though Naaman was a mighty warrior, he suffered from leprosy." Anybody ever had leprosy before? Dear God, I hope not. But leprosy is when, parts of your skin and everything kind of just starts like flaking and coming off and stuff like that. Well, go ahead and look it up. Google image search it when there's nobody around, because it's gross. And then just have a trash can nearby. All right. But yeah, so he had leprosy. And at this time, Armenian raiders had invaded the land of Israel, and among their captives was a young girl who had been given to Naaman's wife as a maid. So there's this young girl that enters the picture. She's a maid, works for his wife anyway. One day, this girl said to her mistress, "I wish my master would go see the prophet in Samaria. He would heal him of his leprosy." So this young girl that's hired as a maid is an Israeli girl. She knows about the prophet. She knows about the one true God. So she's kind of saying, hey, you may as well go talk to this guy, because you're going to have a different result. Verse 4, "So Naaman told the king what the young girl from Israel had said. 'Go and visit the prophet.' And the king of Aram told him, 'I will send a letter of introduction for you and take to the king of Israel.' So Naaman started out carrying as gifts 750 pounds of silver. That's a lot of silver, in case you didn't know. 150 pounds of gold. That's a whole lot of gold. And 10 sets of clothing." I'm just going, after the silver and the gold, who cares about the clothes? But it mentions it. The letter of the king to the king of Israel said, "With this letter, I present my servant Naaman, and I want you to heal him of his leprosy." I imagine that's how they read it. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes in dismay, and he says, "Am I God that I can give life and take it away? Why is this man asking me to heal someone with leprosy? I can see that he's just trying to pick a fight with me." He probably said it that way. But when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes in dismay, he sent this message to him: "Why are you so upset? Send Naaman to me, and he'll learn that there's a true prophet here in Israel." Gotta love that kind of confidence. He's got swagger, serious swagger. He's probably thinking things like, hey man, if I want to cross that river, I don't need a bridge. I just spin my cloak, slap the water with it, water parts. I go on dry ground because why? Because I'm God's prophet. So yeah, send that guy with leprosy to me. That's what he's like, serious swagger. So Naaman went with his horses and chariots, and he waited at the door of Elisha's house. But Elisha sent a messenger out to him with this message: "Go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River, and then your skin will be restored, and you will be healed of your leprosy." So imagine this, the pomp and circumstance of Naaman. They've had all these exchanges, letters between kings, all of this stuff going on. This guy shows up with 750 pounds of silver, 150 pounds of gold, and don't forget 10 sets of clothes. He comes with chariots and horses. It wasn't like, I'm just going to take an Uber to go see the guy. He's like, I'm taking my entourage. This is like practically a state visit, like the Secretary of State showing up to a different nation, right? There's pomp, there's circumstance, there's security, there's all kinds of cool things going on over there. So when this happens and he shows up and he's at the front door, instead of getting like the red carpet rolled out and like Hail to the Chief being played by the band or something, what he gets is the messenger comes out and he says, "Yeah, so the boss says, go like wash yourself in this disgusting river 7 times. And it's like, what? Can you imagine like our president sending a messenger out to like some head of state from some other country and saying, "Hey, go out and dip in the Potomac River." Like, that's gross. Who knows how many bodies are in there? That's why what happened next ends up happening. Verse 11, "But Naaman became angry and stalked away. I thought that would certainly come out to meet me." He said, "I expected him to wave his hand over the leprosy and call on the name of the Lord, his God, and heal me. Aren't the rivers of Damascus," that's where he's from, "and the Abana and the Parfar any better than the rivers of Israel? Why shouldn't I wash in them and be healed?" So Naaman turned away in a rage. He got angry. He was indignant. The word indignant is a really cool word. It's a very strange word. What it means is righteous anger. Like, there are times when you get angry because maybe somebody cut you off in traffic. And it's like, that's really not something too big of a deal to get too angry about, right? But we feel indignant about it nonetheless, because there I was in my own lane, minding my own business, and then someone in a Prius cuts in front of me, and I had to slam on the brakes, and all the stuff in the back of the car is now in the front of the car, and so you feel indignant, righteous anger. Well, at least that's what you think, right? That's how I operate anyway, typically. And he's like the same way. I came out here with my entourage. I came out here with all this silver, all this gold, and don't forget, 10 sets of clothes, 10 outfits. I'm going to give you 10 designer outfits, from the best tailors in my hometown, right? And so he's just angry. But his officers tried to reason with him in verse 13. But his officers tried to reason with him, and they said, "Sir, if the prophet had told you to do something very difficult, wouldn't you have done it? So you should certainly obey when he says something simply, 'Go wash and be cured.'" And there's something in that is so simple. Imagine the courage of the officers who go to their leader and say that. "Sir, if he had told you to balance on one leg and tap your head and swirl your belly, and then say something 5 times, wouldn't you have done whatever hocus pocus he told you to do? Why don't you do this simple thing? You just get wet. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to get wet, and then after that you can take a bath, and then you'll be done. What's the worst thing that could happen?" So, verse 14, "So Naaman went down to the Jordan River, and he dipped himself 7 times, and as the man of God had instructed him, and his skin became as healthy as the skin of a young child, and he was healed." It's amazing what a little bit of obedience can do. And sometimes we find ourselves in a place going through life where we are, we're saying, God, what's the big message, God? What's the big deal? Like, what should I do? God, what's my calling? What is it you want me to accomplish? And he might say something like, yeah, be faithful. Oh, but what do you mean? I mean, I came here and I prayed and I fasted and I did all these things and now all you tell me to do is be faithful? You just tell me to go attend church? You just tell me to be committed? What's that? And so it's like the job of this pastor and probably every other pastor out there who's a decent pastor to remind all of you, sometimes it's these simple things. Like we're looking for the hocus pocus answer. We're looking to put a quarter into the cosmic vending machine that you know as God and to say, okay, I put in my quarter, now give me my trinket. And it's like, it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes it really is some simple obedience. Hey, go do this simple thing and do it repetitively. Do it 7 times. Why 7? Why not 5? Why not 3? Why do I have to do this? God is looking for us to actually have some obedience. Sometimes there's a test of obedience that has to happen. I know that sometimes with my kids, it's like, I just know, I absolutely know. It's like there's this intrinsic thing that I think dads have. Like, they say moms have eyes in the back of their head. Dads have lie detectors built in. And I know like you dads know what I'm talking about. When the kids are lying, you know it. You just know it. You don't know how you know it. It's not like I could present a pile of evidence in a court that says how I know. I just know. And, and so it's one of those things where like now I have this test of obedience. Hey, I don't think what you're saying is true. Why don't you tell me what is true? And it's those simple tests of obedience. And the way that my child responds to that is going to change the outcome of what happens next. And so I think sometimes there's these things in life where we're like, God, I want to change the world. I want to do this. I want to do that. That kind of thing. And we have these great and grandiose ideas and visions of things. And I was called to do this, or called to be in ministry, or a pastor, or a worship leader, an evangelist, or called to help people be healed, or whatever it is that God's called you to do. To be generous. I'm called to serve people, whatever. God, what's my big thing to do? And he's just like, keep showing up. Oh, but yeah, okay, that's fine, God. But what's the big thing you want me to do? Keep showing up. Oh, but God, it's been 6 months and I haven't seen these great results yet. And I thought it was going to, I had this picture, we had this vision, we had this dream, and it's been 6 months already. And keep showing up. Oh, but God, it's such a small beginning. And why are we in a living room? Oh, keep showing up. But I don't want to wash in this river. This river's gross. There's a much nicer river back where I live. Keep showing up. Get into that river. Dip 7 times. Can you imagine his embarrassment when he gets into the river like the 3rd time and there's nothing changed? And you go, you know what? If this is going to work, and then you get into the 4th time and you think, now I've done more than 50% of what I was told to do, and I see approximately 0% change in my leprosy condition. God, I've come halfway so far. I've done 50% of what you told me to do, and there is not a 50% of my miracle that's been achieved yet. And so then we point to God and we say, you, God, are not holding up your end of the bargain. And he says, no, you haven't obeyed me yet. You have not obeyed. You have stopped halfway through the instructions that I gave you. Get back in the river. That's a hard thing for us to realize, but God is looking for our obedience. Other places in the Old Testament, it talks about sacrifice, especially in the Old Testament. There's all kinds of sacrifice. I sinned. Now I have to bring a sacrifice, a sin sacrifice, an offering. I have to bring this animal, and I put it before the priest, and we slaughter it, and we let its blood out, and these kind of things, and we make this sacrifice. And a lot of times, like, we just sort of treat the sacrifice like it doesn't mean very much. And we just say that when I'm disobedient, that's cool, I will offer a sacrifice. But what's the Bible says? The Bible says this. God says, I would rather have obedience than sacrifice. We kind of think like, well, I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to do all this hard work. I'm willing to stand on one leg and pat my head and rub my belly all at the same time. God, if that's what it takes, I'll sacrifice. I'll do all these things. And God's like, I don't need that from you. I just need you to obey, right? Think about like the quarterback on a football team who's calling plays. When he says slant right, he just needs everybody on the team to do their job. That's a slant right. And if he says slant right and they go, ready, break, and everybody leaves the huddle, they get to their place on the line of scrimmage and the wide receiver says, I'm going to go left instead, the whole play falls apart because the quarterback called a slant right. So it requires that everybody on that team needs to be obedient to the play that was called, right? And we sometimes go, well, I know that that's the play that God called for everybody, but I'm special somehow because I'm the wide receiver and, or I'm the tight end. Look at my tight end, right? And it's like, no, that doesn't matter. You're part of a bigger picture. And so when we start to think that like I have some exclusion as to why, I don't have to do what God's asked me to do and somehow I'm going to be blessed beyond reason anyhow. And I just think sometimes God's saying, just get in the river again, idiot. Right? Just obey, just turn up. And we're like, but God, I want to do miracles. I want to see all these things happen. And he says, you know what? You have to crawl before you walk, and you got to walk before you run. Let's start with simple obedience. Simple obedience. Simple obedience. But right about now, probably somebody's about to turn this off, or somebody's watching on Facebook or YouTube right now. Oh, this isn't what I want to hear about. Click. Come on, simple obedience. This is the stuff that probably doesn't sell well, right? I know that there's probably lots of pastors out there, and there's lots of great pastors out there who say great things, but I'm just saying there are some people out there who just know that like, oh, well, we should talk about like how to get more money, how to have prosperity. And I'm like, guess what? I am talking about prosperity. Simple obedience. Get back into that river and dip another time, a fifth time, a sixth time, and a seventh time. I'm telling you what, when we're obedient, that gets God's attention. When my kids are obedient, it gets my attention. They don't have to ask me for rewards and treats. I can't wait to give it to them. And God's that way. He cannot wait to give you reward, but he can't reward disobedience. I can't give my kid a reward when they're disobedient. I can't do it. I can't reinforce negative behavior. I can't reinforce a lack of faith, right? I can't reinforce that. I've got a job, a mandate, an obligation as a parent to reinforce what is good and to discourage what is bad. God has that with each of us. I think the best things that we learn about God, we learn from the relationship between a parent and a child, right? So he dipped himself 7 times, verse 14, as the man of God had instructed him, and his skin became healthy like the skin of a young child, and he was healed. In verse 15, then Naaman and his entire party went back to find the man of God, and they stood before him. And Naaman said, now I know that there is no God in all the world except in Israel, so please accept a gift from your servant. So before he showed up pomp and circumstance and gifts, and he stands before Elisha, and Elisha sends out a messenger. And because, even though he did so begrudgingly, because his officers said, do this simple thing, just do simple obedience and see what happens. What's the worst thing that could happen? You get wet, right? So he does that, and then he returns to the man of God. And this time, it's not communicating through a servant. When Elisha saw that he did what was prescribed by the Lord, he actually saw him in person. And I think listen to me, there are people out there who you feel like you've had some kind of a betrayal from some kind of ministry in your world. There's a ministry in your past, there's a pastor, and you're thinking, that pastor betrayed me, that pastor wouldn't see me, that pastor wouldn't give me the time of day. And my question is, what did that pastor ask you to do that you didn't do? What gives... And I'm not making an excuse for a rude pastor because I don't have much tolerance for that. But what I am suggesting to you is is, especially pastors of a bigger congregation, they're being pulled in a ton of different directions. And when they keep trying to help a person over and over again in simple obedience, it just cannot, it's just never been part of the picture of that person. There comes a point when that pastor's like, I'm sorry, I don't have time. Not that I don't love you, but I don't have time. If you can't do something simple, if you can't take simple advice, why? Like, I can't afford to give you that time again. I need to work with people who will obey. I think there's something to see in this. I know this isn't popular. Again, I'm not defending rude people. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you're blaming someone else in your life for not giving you more time, for not giving you more. And you're in a place where you're wondering, like, why? Oh, I'm so angry at that person. That person hurt me. That person offended me or whatever. But I'm telling you, there's probably a reason. Elisha didn't give Naaman the time of day. He gave him an instruction until he showed obedience. When he offered that simple obedience, then he's like, okay, now we're talking to somebody. Now we're getting somewhere. And I just wonder, if you're the kind of person who has sort of bounced into a ministry and bounced out of that ministry, and you bounce into a different one and you bounce out, and now you have this sort of trail of ministry corpses behind you. And you're just like, why are all churches screwed up? Why are all ministries broken? Why is every pastor rude? Why does nobody believe in me? Can I suggest that if everywhere you go, every ministry is broken, maybe it's you? That's some hard things to hear, isn't it? So this is what Naaman says to him, the second half, verse 15. Now I know there's no God in all the world except in Israel, so please accept a gift from your servant. But Elisha replied, verse 16, as surely as the Lord lives, whom I serve, I will not accept any gifts. And though Naaman urged him to take the gift, Elisha refused. Then Naaman said, all right, but please allow me to load 2 of my mules with earth from this place, and I will take it back home with me. From now on, I'll never again offer a burnt offering or sacrifice to any other god except the Lord. However, may the Lord pardon me in this one thing. When my master, the king, goes into the temple of the god Rimmon to worship there and leans on my arm, may the Lord pardon me when I bow too. Go in peace, Elisha said. So Naaman started home again. And so you see this interaction between these two. And Elisha's not doing this to get something from him. And I think that there are certainly some corrupt people out there who are into some kind of a ministry in order to get something from you. But the vast majority, and I mean the vast majority of people that I know out there, pastors and people, like, as a pastor, I hear things behind closed doors that you don't hear, okay? And let me just say this, that as corrupt as all of us are because we're all human beings, there's corruption in me because I'm a human being, right? The word pastor in front of my name does not make me perfect. It doesn't just suddenly miraculously mean I have no sin in my life, right? But let me help you understand this, is that I think you would be very hard-pressed to find a pastor who is trying to take something from you. Most pastors want something for you, not from you. There are the rare exceptions out there who oftentimes are on TV. But they are rare. Like the average pastor that I know is barely scraping by financially. They are trying their very best to keep their family in good order. They are working super hard, late nights, early mornings. They are dealing with emotional train wrecks within their own family and dealing with emotional train wrecks within their own church. And they do so for very little in return. They're not looking for much. They're doing this because God's called them to. So I encourage you to stop holding a grudge against ministry. Who has hurt you so bad? And why, even if they have hurt you, why would you allow that to be something that you carry throughout your entire life? It's time to let go and let God. It's time to let that thing go and to move on. And stop carrying that. Let that weight go. Let that burden go. God has more for you. God has something else. And when you carry that in, right, it's like This is something that I've heard, I hear leaders that I respect and admire say quite often. The way you leave one place will determine how you enter the next. So you don't want to leave a place just angry and spitting fire and venom everywhere. We want to leave right so that you can enter the next season right. And if you're in a place where you know that you've left wrong, like repent, repent of that, and just say, God, please forgive me. God, I repent of that, and be ready to move on for what God is next. Fair enough? God, I thank you for every person who's listening today, and God, I pray that we would get to a place where we can operate in simple obedience. Simple obedience. God, we overcomplicate things many times, and we want to, what's the magic thing I have to do? What's the formula? God, help us to realize that it's not about formula, it's about relationship being formed. God, help us to form that relationship with you. God, help us to move into that place of obedience. God, help us to realize and recognize good advice when we see it. God, let us not blame ministers. God, let us not blame churches for every issue we have today. God, even for those of us who've been wronged, God, let's just give that up, God. Give up our right to be right and just forgive. God, I pray for healing for every person in the sound of my voice, God, emotional healing and spiritual healing, God, from every ministry that's ever been a negative experience within their past. God, help there be freedom for them to move forward. And God, let us be able to give us that freedom to keep turning up, God, into a place where you're calling us to be. In Jesus' name, amen. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Give us a little bit of feedback. Let us know what you think about what you're hearing today. Let us know how we can pray for you. Again, that number is 425-835-2267 if you want to let us know privately, or you can shoot us a little comment down in the comment section below. We love you guys. Don't forget to share this thing with somebody. Hey, and do us a big favor also before you go. Make sure you grab the Sound Church app. It is super dope. Lots of cool things on there, including the Daily Bible, including events, including if you like some of the songs we play, there's a Spotify playlist that will help you get to many of the songs that we play, although they might sound way different because we don't tend to play it true to the original recording at all. But at least you can hear the song, and that's a good thing. All right, you guys, thanks so much. God bless you. We will catch you here next time at Sound Church, sound.church. Is next week Father's Day? Is that right? Yep. Hey, next week's Father's Day. So if you are in the general vicinity, please make sure you join us in person. Follow us online to get all the details, because actually, truthfully, between you, me, and the fence post, we're not exactly sure where we're meeting yet next week. We got some exciting things in the works, so we will let you know what's going on this week. God bless you. See you next time. See ya. Bye-byes now.
Sound Church exists to amplify Jesus. That's what we want to do. Everything we do is possible from the help of supporters like you. Aside from this streaming service, your giving goes towards different initiatives around the world and helping homeless children and women in the Seattle area. Right now, we want to help Faith India Ministries raise $10,000 for their church and their orphan center. There are 3 ways that you can give. Text any dollar amount to the number 425-689-7707. Or you can go into the app and click on donate. Or you can go online at www.sound.church. Thank you. We really appreciate any amount that you're able to give. We love you.
Thanks so much for being here with us tonight for the streaming house church service at Sound Church. I just want to invite you to stay connected with us throughout the week in one of 3 ways. Check out the website for all of the updated events and everything at www.sound.church, or grab the app. Search your favorite app store for any device you can imagine just about. Just search for Sound Church. And I'm talking iPhone, Android, Amazon, Windows Mobile, Apple TV, pretty much. We've got an app for everybody, so grab one of those. And also just make sure you keep in touch on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those by searching for Sound Church, all one word, at Sound Church. Thanks so much. God bless you guys. See you later.
See, giving is simple and secure. If you'd like to give, just text the word give to our giving number and tap the link. From here, you can give any amount you'd like. Choose what you give to and make it a one-time or recurring gift. It's that simple. For your first time, you'll need to register to complete your gift. After that, you can give again, anytime, anywhere. Just text the word give.